Hi, we're here at the German-American Trade and Tech Conference from the Aspen Institute. I'm here with Bown. You are the Reginal Jones Senior Fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics. Thank you for doing this interview with me. From your point of view, what are the greatest risks for the United States in international trade?
I guess it's because it's such a moment of change that maybe we're not sure what our own objectives are, and unless you have your actual objectives figured out, you don't know necessarily if you're going to achieve them. So it could range from nothing happening, in which case we're left with the same vulnerabilities and resilience issues that we had, heading into the pandemic, heading into all these other conflicts, versus too much overreaction, too much bringing stuff back to the United States, at the end of the day, not having enough engagement and trade with the real world. And so I think we're really at such an uncertain point. We don't know what our objectives are, that it's open season for the number of things that could go wrong.
Yeah, thank you. What are the strategies to reduce vulnerabilities in trade and while at the same time securing an open trade order?
Well, I think we have to recognize that there are new vulnerabilities because of the pandemic, because of the new kind of climate shock exposed world that we live in, let alone the new geopolitical climate that we're engaged in, that the old rules and the way economic activity had oriented itself under those old rules are not okay for right now. And so the question is, well, how do we get to the new outcome that we're happier with, that's more resilient? In my view, I think that probably does require some, kind of discriminatory trade policy, in the sense of shifting some activity where it's become excessively geographically concentrated into different places. Doesn't all have to be into the United States. If we have too much semiconductor manufacturing in East Asia, moving some to the United States, some to Europe, that gives us enhanced diversification, that's okay. But it's really, really hard to do that nowadays without kind of discriminatory policy. Things like subsidies, sometimes tariffs, these things make us uncomfortable in the trade world, but it's kind of a reality that we have to acknowledge if we want to get to a better place in terms of more diversified, more resilient supply chains.
Thank you. Something that's also been a main worry is U.S.-Chinese competition in the global trading order. Has the Russian war in Ukraine shifted that focus? And if so, how lasting do you predict this effect will be?
I think it's definitely shifted the focus in Washington away from thinking only about China for the last year. On the other hand, I think the concerns that the United States has had about China, other parts of the world have become more attuned to them. And so I think, unfortunately, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, perhaps Europe now better understands the United States' perspective when we're worried about excessive, concentration or dependence of certain economic activity in the China relationship. Germany especially, and the rest of Europe can say, oh, we just experienced that when it came to Russia, so now maybe the United States, we understand you better. And we'll be able to figure out a solution to dealing with those kinds of concerns together as it goes forward. So maybe in the short term, it's taken the eye away from the issue, but maybe over the long term, it'll ultimately lead us to a better place.
Thank you so much for your insights and for joining our conference, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the panels.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you.